Good morning everyone, and thanks for hanging out with me. I'm here with the Renault Megane E-Tech. This is a 60 kWh version. And I'm gonna do the 130 kilometers an hour highway Autobahn range test today. I have this car from, thanks and shout out and link in the description below, from Auto Sonnleitner in Regensburg. Awesome. They have a lot of dealerships all over Austria and Germany. They're really nice of them to give me the car for 3 days to test it out. And today is the range test. As I said, I'm restricted with kilometers, how many kilometers I can drive. That's why I'm just doing the 130 and not the 90, the city country mix. There's just no kilometers left. A bit of the specs: it has 218 horsepower and what is this, 155 kilowatt, I don't know, 160, I don't know, 60 kilowatt hour battery. And I tried to find out if this is gross or net capacity, and I couldn't. EV database, where I normally get my specs, said 60 on both numbers, so I guess it's a 60 kilowatt hour net capacity, so usable energy, but nobody knows what the gross capacity is, but it's fine. It's front wheel drive and looks really cool, I have to say, and it has a lot of features in there that I really like, and I will show you on the drive as well. I'm here right on the highway at Ionity. Go on the highway, try to drive 130 kilometers an hour the whole time, turn around at 55% or 56%, and then come back here on the other side to Ionity, so there is no elevation change. I will, like I said, try to, and I drive GPS speed, not 130 what the car shows, will be 132, and then we see what the range is and how the car is on the highway and everything. And it charged, I plugged in at 96%, and it charged with 33 kilowatt, and it says 100% and still charging with 19 kilowatt. So 100% is not full on this car, I guess. And if you haven't seen it, charge port on the Megane is here on the right left, on the right front, like on the e-tron. But as you can see with Ionity, it doesn't touch the cable, but the cable doesn't touch the car at all. As you can see with the car, a lot of space for the passengers, but the trunk is very low, but it's not very long. So, and you have this tiny little button to open it, and as you can see, it's very deep, but it's not very long, when this is important to you. I will do a whole review of the car, inside, driving, comparison to ID.3, everything by itself. It has keyless entry and keyless exit, so when you go away from the car, it will lock. So I think I will wait till this is done charging. I'm not gonna go with 100% now. I'm on my way. I'm driving 132 cruise control, and I have the self-steering on too. You do that here. This is the button for the self-centering, lane keeping, they call it. Consumption is high because the first 10 kilometers are uphill, and I have this view on. I could have the Google Maps view on, or the minimal view, which is nothing. And then this where I was. I'm in comfort mode because in eco mode the car only drives a bit over 100 and there's almost no power. That wouldn't cut it for a 130 kilometers an hour range test. I started with exactly 100%, or when it was full. And there's also a second trip. You can go in here, driving eco, and it tells you the trip data here, which is for whatever reason different. Did I not reset? Oh, I didn't reset it. That's the problem. It's true, I only reset the one in the screen, but there's a second, well, this was important. I wanted to know if this is a different trip, and it is, because I was scared the car only has one trip meter, but I even asked on a Facebook page. Yeah, so, but there's this the second trip in here, that's good. And this is kilometers an hour average speed also. This one in here just has kilometers and the average consumption. And you can save the trip, do new trip, see the history of your trips. That's cool. Yeah, driving this car is very, very nice. I'm very impressed. Suspension is awesome, really awesome. Doesn't matter if you're driving slow, fast, over a bump, over cobblestone. It's really awesome. It's not jumpy, it's not too sporty, not too soft. Amazing. Loudness in here at 130, top, awesome. Really great. The seats are good too. I'm sitting in here. It's comfy. I have these are not the electric seats, but I still have a button for lumbar support, and I can feel the thing digging into my back or not. I can not adjust the height, but in and out. Top. And the self-steering here on the highway is. I have to say, for me, how I use this, the self-steering, this is the best self-steering I've ever used. And I know all the Tesla drivers are now freaking out. What? It doesn't have the features of a Tesla autopilot, no. So it doesn't stop on a light and you cannot see other cars on the side, and I don't know. Doesn't do that. But for the way I use self-driving is to have less stress while taking a long trip, or if I have to reach something, the car centers itself. I can let go of the steering wheel for a second, and this does it extremely well. And why is it better than Tesla? Well, in the Tesla, because of people ruining it, I said it, where they put oranges and I don't know what in the steering wheel, that just having a touch on the steering wheel is not enough anymore. You have to steer. I drove two Tesla Model Ys, and for the car to recognize that you are still having the steering wheel in your hand, you have to steer, and not a little, not a boop, boop. It has to be a good amount. And here it doesn't have that yet. A touch is enough, and until it bugs you, hey, touch the steering wheel, it takes a while. I don't know, 20 seconds, 20, maybe even 30 seconds. So that's awesome for me how I use it. I'm not misusing it and put my orange in here. No. And also the steering is not jerky, it's not moving around. It's maybe for me a tiny bit too far to the left on the highway, but I'm getting used to it, it's fine. And I almost don't feel it. It's not fighting me when I steer myself a bit. It's not, what are you doing, and jerking around. Really awesome. I'm very impressed. This is the stuff. Even in Volkswagen, you have to steer a lot, that it recognizes that you're still have your hands on the steering wheel. Not even, but you know, I'm coming from Volkswagen, so I'm saying something here. I'm at 75% and I drove a bit over 70 kilometers. So if this stays the same, it would be 280 kilometers of range at that speed. That would be great. I think it could be even more because, like I said, on the way from start to here, it was uphill, and on the way back, it's downhill. So that's of course better for the range. Cool. Drive so far is flawless. I could keep the speed, I think 99%. Like now I have to slow down because there's a car and someone is passing, but this happened maybe twice. So it's really working well. I have the climate off, by the way. I had the climate on in the beginning, but it was too cold. I didn't want heat, and I don't need AC. It's 19 degrees. At the start it was 16 degrees. So I turned the climate off, and when I'm a bit warm I can turn it on again, and in the afternoon it will be very hot, 30 degrees, but till it gets warm I think we're back. The test is done. I'm a pro, but I was distracted since I had to change highways. I'm at 49%. I wanted to film at 50%. I'm 140 kilometers, which still would mean 280, but it's again not exactly 50, so a bit under 280 kilometers. Again, good. Drive is perfect. I'm sorry. Even though it's holiday, it wasn't that busy this morning. It's good. It's 8 a.m. I left home at 6 a.m. Good decision. Yeah, it's already 48. So I'm guessing it was 135 kilometers, 136. Yeah, I'm gonna report at 75, and then at the end, and we calculate everything, see what Google Maps says. The real distance was, it says I will arrive at 26%. I will go down that it says 15%, just to have some margin that it doesn't go down any further. Yeah, now I can see how it looks like in the views. By the way, in the minimal view, you don't even see the range, you just see 48%. And in the normal view, let's call it this, you then have power and regen, and here the speed, and you have the range, and then of course you have a Google Maps view, and that's just awesome. Look at that, it tells you 900 kilometers, go to the right. Awesome. 900 meters. I just turned around. I have 70 kilometers to the charger, Ionity charger. Car says I have 105 kilometers of range. I'm at 36%. Google Maps says I will arrive with 8%. When I turned around, it said 6%. So just 6 when I turned around, and then I went on a highway and it says 8. I don't know what it's calculating. I think that this is always at the speed that you're driving, usually on the highway. I don't think it goes with your average consumption. It was at 217 or something, then went up to 220. We'll see what it is at the end, so we have a real number. By the way, look at this view. This is awesome to have Google Maps in there with the trip. And by the way, you can turn the right side completely off. You have even more map if you want to. Awesome. You can see 24 kilometers, I have to change highways. I was at 25%, but the microphone didn't work for a second, and so I'm at 24 now. Drove 200 kilometers when it was at 25%. Google Maps still says I'm at 9%. To get there, I have 34 kilometers of margin now. When I turned around, it was 36, so it's okay. It's staying that way. Consumption is 219 still. It will go down at the end, but not by much. Because it's just 7-8 kilometers off the 240 that I will drive. And it's downhill, but big time. And then in the end, there's 100 kilometers an hour speed limit. But the drive so far was perfect. This is a good range test, good consumption test. 21 degrees out there. I don't have AC on. I even can see the consumption of the climate. There's a way to see that in the main screen. I show you that all in the main review video. Oh my god! Way too much weight in that car. Oh my god. I get stopped by the police if someone sees it. I arrived, I drove 238 kilometers, I arrived with 11%, 38 kilometers of range left. Consumption was 217. I will look at Google Maps what the exact kilometers were, if this is any different, and then we calculate the range. Google Map tells me it was 244 kilometers, or 6 kilometers more than what the car shows. So quite a bit more. And when I calculated, I used 89%, that means 274 kilometers. And it was a great drive, it was perfect condition. I could keep the speed very well, no acceleration or anything, didn't have to slow down or anything. This was a perfect test. I don't know the average speed yet, I will put it in here with all the data. It has the 20-inch tires on, 215/45 I think. I have the picture here. The range is okay, 274 kilometers. I'm doing one more test, well, way more tests. I will do the charging test now, film a whole charging session from the 11% to 90%. Then I will do a driving test, review of the car, then compare it to my ID3 with space, with driving and everything. Do a driving test, and then in the afternoon I will meet someone else with an ID3. And we're gonna drive just 50 kilometers or so. At first charge to the exact same state of charge, drive 50 kilometers behind each other, change position, and then charge again to 60%, and then we'll see what the real consumption is and who's better. I don't know what tires he has on though. I don't know if he has 20-inch tires like this car has, so that could be a disadvantage. But that's it for me. Thank you much for watching. Have a great day and take care. Bye.